Hey guys, welcome back. I have to talk about Interview with the Vampire, the AMC showing on Netflix now series. At first I was very hesitant on this show. I grew up with the movie. I tried to read the book. The book didn't really thrill me too much. So my review is going to be mostly like movie to series. And what I really do like about the series, and some things that kind of had me thrown off a little bit, but I think I kind of am overlooking until I watch the second season, which I'm hoping is soon. So if you're very new to Interview with the Vampire, the basics of it is you have Vampire Louis, Mr. Mopey, and he is with this reporter, and he is basically saying his life story. So think Name of the Wind, Empire of the Vampire, like think something like that. I know I just gave out two newer titles. And he is telling his story, and his main maker, which is another main character, is Lestat. And the whole series kind of revolves around these older vampires and kind of their life story and how they kind of hide from humans and stuff like that and how they survive. And so the main difference between both of them are involved in Louisiana, like 1800s Louisiana. So you have both of those. The main difference is Louis is a African American male. At this time period, the Jim Crow laws just became in effect, and then you have Lestat that is pretty much this immigrant from France that causes a whole bunch of problems. And at first, Louis is a human. Another big difference is that he is... Can I say pimp on YouTube? Okay, I said it. Hopefully I don't get demonetized here for this video. And Lestat is kind of just this guy that's walking around town, and you find out later that he's a vampire. And the thing about Louis in the original was they were both white, so they were both equal in that context. A big thing with this new show is that you are running into the factor of there is a race discrepancy between Louis and Lestat. And it's not really Lestat understanding why Louis just cannot do anything on his own business wise, and why he's judged. Like, Lestat throughout the first season never understood that at all. And it's a very much Louis kind of getting to grips of, I'm no longer human, but at the same time, I'm still dealing with the struggles of race and what that leads to. Because you don't, in this society, you don't lose that. Like, you're still an African American man, like, presenting, and you walk down the street like you would, you just have superpowers and you can live forever. Is really the only difference between his life now and his life as, a regular immortal man. And there's a big aspect of his family in this as well that's not in the movie. So they were really pushing that he's like, Louis trying to be this mortal presenting man as long as possible so he doesn't lose his family. Well, by the end, you have to give up your family eventually. Like, you're this monster that lives forever. There's one scene where it's like he almost kills his nephew. Like, you can't just be part of the regular human society anymore. You are a creature of the night. You have this bloodlust. They still stuck with Louis, Louis eating animals. So you get that start of like the vegetarian vampire, which Lestat is definitely not. And I like that. I like the Lestat character a little bit better. And I think I grew to like the Louis character better once we kind of got to know him a little bit more. I definitely like the Louis character like more in the present, where he's kind of found himself more. And this is definitely an exploration of sexuality. So you find out very early in the beginning of this that he found the reporter in a gay bar in the 80s, and that's how they met. So it's definitely, when you're watching it from the 1800s, and Lestat's pretty much aware of his sexuality, like in the beginning. Like he's like, I'm guessing he's probably more like a bi, or, maybe more gay, but he explores, which doesn't surprise me with vampires and the vampire lore. Like, I don't expect them to be straight for some reason. Like, some of them probably are, but I expect them to want to explore a little bit. Because you live for so long, like, you're gonna have that curiosity eventually. But when Anne Rice wrote this, she wrote this in, like, the 70s. So, when she wrote it, there's, like, an undertone. And it's kind of the same way that we would read, like, classic literature. Like, there's this, if they want an undertone, there's going to be an undertone. And that's kind of how Anne Rice wrote Louis and Lestat's relationship, is that there's this undertone where they maybe got together. Like, but in the series, they're very open about, like, Louis and Lestat have shared a coffin together. Like, that's in episode, like, 1 or 2, and it is very, very known. So if that's something that you do not like in your programming, this is probably not the show for you, because it is not an undertone. They are very much like, we know. And then you have, later on, they get this little girl named Colette, I believe is her name. I could be completely wrong. I do apologize. But I actually, Kirsten Dunst played her in the original movie, and I think for her age, I think they got her at a younger age than the one that's in the show, because the one in the show seemed like she was a little bit of an older girl, probably maybe in her like mid-teens, where like Kirsten Dunst was definitely like 8-9 years old in the movie. And even though Kirsten Dunst definitely played like a good brat, I think what I liked about her in the show is that she's very intelligent. She understands what it is to be a vampire, and she has to go back and forth with the idea that, yes, you just lost your ability to become like an older woman. And that really it's like more of her character development, that she's not going to like have kids. Like, she's going to be this age forever. She's not going to be able to like cut her hair, and she's going to be a little girl forever. And it's that battle that it's like, we want to grow up enough to where we can have, the benefits of being an adult, but once you're an adult, you don't want to be an adult. That's kind of what her thing is. And the actress does a really good job. And I think with the whole thing of her section is very much her diaries. We're really getting her point of view as well as Louis with this situation. It becomes very much like a Dowry of Blood situation where we're getting these two. You have the man in the middle that's really controlling, and then you have the two opposites that are being affected, and this is how they feel about it. Sorry about that, guys. And that's really where it comes down to, when it comes to this series, is that they're adding more to, like, kind of characters that don't last very long. I'm not gonna spoil it. But I liked that the battle that Louis had of being mortal and wanting to stay in the mortal realm, even though you're a vampire and you're, you know, that battle that he has with himself, I think is the major improvement that the show really has. Lestat doesn't change between the movie and the film. Like, he is this controlling, like, I'm daddy and nobody can cross my line. And Lestat definitely has that feeling between the show and the movie. That doesn't change. He's a little bit more, to me, of a charmer than he was in the movies. And that could just be the acting. I do think that the two actors are a lot better than Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt when it comes to just the overall, like, understanding of the characters. And these two actors, I feel like, understand these characters more. And I think they feel... And they kind of do different things. Where Louis is the most changed because he's still a businessman most of the time. He's a lot more out there than the Louis in the movie. That, to me, just hides in a corner and eats rats and is kind of not that interesting. Like, this Louis is like, he runs brothels. Like, he's still playing his mortal self. Like, he's still making a lot of money, and he's still trying to support his family, and he's struggling with the fact that he's not going to be part of the family anymore. And he gets blamed for killing his brother, and he has to grapple with that. And his mother is terrible. And there's a scene where his sister, you know, actually finally makes his grave, and I think that is a final straw. I really like that they did add that to give the family some peace. And because I think the family does need peace. Like, Louis' family goes through a lot with him, with the transformation, and I like that by the end she's just like, I have to let you go. You're not the Louis I knew. I'm letting you go. And he is kind of this coldish, offish character. He does play Grey Worm in Game of Thrones, Louis, the guy that plays Louis. So he does kind of bring that back, but then, like, when you see him in the future where he's, like, established, he's comfortable with him and himself, I think he comes out a lot more. And that's the thing with the movie and the show, is the show shows that a lot more than the movie did. Like, I don't feel like there was a different characteristic. Yeah, that's about it. And I love, like, I would give the show, like, overall 4. Like, there's some parts where I'm just like, I'm a little bored. But those last 2-3 episodes are really, really good. And I can't wait to get to the second season. Obviously I've seen the movie, so I know how the movie handles a lot of these things. There's hints about a couple of things that are going to happen in the second season. And then I think the third season is the Vampire Lestat. And I think if you've seen Queen of the Damned, there's some of that in, I think, the third season, which is going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, if you want to know my feelings on the second season, I might come back and give my review on that. But otherwise, like and subscribe. Thank you so much to anybody that has come on down, watched a video, watched a short, subscribed, liked, whatever you do. Thank you so much. And I am going to be back with another video, hopefully real soon here. I'm not sure what I want to talk about. But I will be back soon with something. But thank you so much. If you want more reviews, Thursday. If you want book reviews, Sunday. But thank you all so much. And have a good rest of your day. And I will see you in a video coming real soon.